Okay. So now we're back with our second episode of the Michael Jackson saga, and I want to play this for you while I look for something. So just leave me alone, yeah. Leave me alone. Okay. So I this part I wanted to do mainly about the Casios, but I found the Jordan Chandler thing that I want you guys to hear because this is this is crazy. And some of it is a clip from the Netflix documentary, but it crosses over into a completely different thing. So I want you guys to hear this first.
And then she told the jury that she hadn't seen her son in 11 years.
Gee, why? Because you made him lie about being molested?
She had done something wrong. She had allowed access to her son that she now regretted.
All right, then. One woman's opinion. Who's next?
In just discussions, we were college students, we would have our discussions about our parents and venting and that sort of thing. He said that he felt very used by his parents and that he wasn't close to them. He never mentioned siblings either, so I don't know what was going on there, but he did say multiple times that he was not close to his family and that he felt that he was used by them. Immediately after the Martin Bashir documentary aired, we had a program meeting and there was a discussion about, whether or not Michael Jackson was a child molester. People were calling him freaks. These were people who did not have any fondness for Michael Jackson. And I chimed in with my belief that I didn't believe that Michael Jackson was a child molester and that the documentary was, misleading and exploited him. During that conversation, Jordan Chandler chimed in and said that he too believed that Michael Jackson wasn't capable of the things he was being accused of. And he said that voluntarily. And
now, did you hear that? She just said that Jordy Chandler stepped in defending her, saying that he does not believe Michael did any of that stuff. And obviously, that means that he believed it did not happen to him. So that's a big deal. And this girl I'm going to show you, I don't know if all of you are either doing it through you're not doing the video of my podcast, you're just listening to it, but if you're doing the video, that's what this girl looks like. She's a college student. She has no connection to Michael Jackson, no connection to Jordy Chandler. She was just in school and she was having this conversation. And Jordy Chandler backed her up while other people tried to make her feel like shit about what she was saying.
he said it without my prompting and he wasn't. He wasn't in the direct conversation. No, I mean, I was arguing with a group of maybe 3 other people, and he was seated close to us, but he wasn't in on this discussion. And throughout the semester, there were different occasions like that where he would again sort of reaffirm things that I said in defense of Michael Jackson. And I remember that very first time, I remember catching his eye. It was shocking that he would speak up, and it really affirmed my belief that Michael was innocent. And, given things that Jordan had said separately, having nothing to do with Michael Jackson about his home life, it affirmed my belief that he was a victim of his parents' greed and that he was forced to say certain things. Because I really have a hard time believing that if he had been molested by Michael Jackson, he would be going out of his way to say that he didn't think he was capable of these things.
And there you go. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's kind of long and whatever. But that makes a lot of sense. And for him to come out in defense of this girl is just amazing. And I'm gonna go into the Casios for a minute. I want to make sure. Did I delete that? Hold on, I gotta go back and get it. Okay, I got it. So now I wanna. I mean, there's so much, but I wanna um get into the Casios because they're the most recent and they are the most unbelievable motherfuckers I have ever seen in my life. And the fact that I have an interview with them after Michael died talking about how great Michael is and all this stuff. I want to see if I can find. I want to. Let me see if this plays. No, somebody's talking in that one. I don't want that. I want him by himself. No. Because this one is so important because uh, okay, I found it. Perfect. So I've decided to go with the Cassie. I have a lot on Michael, but I don't want to go into too much because I did a 45-minute episode that I just published tonight, and I'm going to publish this one tonight too. But I don't want to keep dwelling on it because I love Michael Jackson. I don't believe any of these rumors at all whatsoever. He was found innocent on fucking 20 counts or 14 counts, whatever. So, in my eyes, he's an innocent man. There is no need to drag him through the mud. And honestly, with the Arvizos, the one thing I got to give them credit for is that they weren't trying to take money from him. They were trying to get him fucking thrown in jail. And that's fucked up in itself. And they were lying anyway. So what the fuck? You were gonna try to put an innocent man in jail and then probably try to sue him civilly for money because money would have became a factor in the first place. And the thing with Arvizo is that Michael at some point started to distance himself from him. And when that started to happen, they were charging stuff to rooms and doing all this stuff and making Michael pay for it and whatever. And people were in Michael's ear and was like, you gotta stop this. And Michael slowly cut off all the amenities that they had. And then what happened? They all went to court and they tried to string him up. And that's just not right. But at least they, tried to go to a criminal court and didn't just flat out ask for money. But they went to court and made a fool of themselves. So, You know, he was found innocent. Now leave the man alone. You can't do anything about anything else because he was found innocent. Not to mention, what are you, all these other cases that they keep popping up? All of these are civil cases and they all want money for it. Like, I would rather be like, look, I'll take money for it, but I want to know that my story's going to be told and that people will believe what I have to say. And my life has been ruined over this. And when this is all over, I do want some kind of compensation since he's dead and I can't get anything else. Yeah, I want compensation from it. But what these people want in compensation is just way over the top. They want like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. And I know I didn't say that right, but I'm just trying to exaggerate the point. They want ridiculous amounts of money. I would not, if it was me, I would not go that way. I would say, look, you pay me 2-3 million, I'll go away, but I want it on paper. And the only way I'll take this money if on paper you admit to enabling him to having children in his room, that you should have been watching him and making sure that those things didn't happen and protecting me and whatever else, because it's not like the 30 million staff he had at Neverland never once figured out that he was doing this. And the people that testified at the trial who worked for him, they were all disgruntled employees that went up there saying all kinds of shit, and that did not help anybody's case because they look straight up fucking dumb. So, you know, you're working in this big ass house and all these people are in it and checking on you, bodyguards everywhere, this and that. There's cameras all over the house, and he's sitting there fondling little boys in his bedroom and giving them Jesus juice and all this shit. I mean, the Jesus juice, even if he did do that, you know, whatever. It's you, when your parent, you've never had your parents hanging out at the house with a couple of their friends, and you're sitting there and you're like, ooh, I want to taste that, I want to try that, and you know they're gonna find it gross, so you give your kid a sip of wine or beer or whatever you have, and they're like, ugh, and you're like, see, you don't like it, now don't ask for it again, type shit like that. Like, people in the comfort of their home do that all the time. I doubt these kids sat there and drank gross ass wine, because I've drank wine. It's fucking disgusting. I have to pour like sugar in my wine to get it to taste good. But he wasn't over there getting them plastered with tequila and fucking all this shit. Giving a kid a sip of wine is not fucking that big of a deal. Is it wrong? Maybe you shouldn't do it. Okay. But parents, I'm sure there's parents out there that let their kids get a drop of alcohol in their mouth and they don't fucking like it and go, ooh, gross. So that whole thing is just fucking stupid. And I just have no time for it. Everything he did was innocent. He had a horrible childhood and he wanted to make up for that with these kids. He helped cure these kids of cancer and paid for medical hold on. He paid for their medical bills. He you know, he would do all of that. And for you guys to try to make him feel like shit is just fucked up. He did a lot for kids. So I'm going to read to you briefly some of the stuff I have here about the Cassios. I'm only going to read a little bit of it because it's kind of long. But it says Michael's estate is involved in another lawsuit. 4 siblings of the Cassio family have sued the Jackson estate, alleging he was a child sex predator who raped, drugged, and sexually assaulted them at Neverland over 10 years, starting when they were as young as 7 years old. They claim Jackson had code phrases such as time to go to Disneyland before a session of sexual abuse after giving them Jesus juice. Disney juice hard liquor to make them more compliant. Yeah, I'm sure he did that. The wine thing, okay, maybe, but I highly fucking doubt that. Okay, I just don't see it happening. Not to mention, Michael had his own kids. When you're a child molester, you don't just pick and choose what child to molest. You molest them all. Previously, the estate and the Cassio family members had a secret settlement agreement whereby the family was paid $16 million over 5 years. Those payments stopped in 2025. The family previously defended Michael Jackson publicly and insisted on his innocence, including on the Oprah show in 2010. Jackson died more than 15 years ago, June 25th, 2009, when another agreement was not reached for the 4 Cassio siblings sued. The attorney of Michael Jackson's estate issued a statement that the suit was a desperate money grab and transparent forum shopping tactic in their scheme to obtain millions of dollars from Michael's estate. The attorney was using the terms forum shopping since arbitration agreements were required and agreed upon with a state court, and new lawsuit is in federal court. The arbitration agreement required resolving disputes outside the courtroom. So basically, they were getting money and then they weren't getting money anymore. And yeah, that is a problem. So they wanted to fuck him over. So let me see. Where is the Oprah one? Okay, here's the Oprah one.
His death. Now, this is the Cassio family. They have been reluctant to come here today, afraid that they might be betraying a friendship that they've held so privately and dearly for over 25 years. That is how long they have had a secret relationship with the king of pop, Michael Jackson. He called them his second family, and they've written music together, have personal home videos, and endless memories with a man who was a mystery to most of us. Here is how it all started.
Well, when I first met Michael, literally since he was 3 and a
Homemade pizza and one night.
Yeah. And it produced and wrote with Michael Jackson before he died. So why did you want to be here, Eddie?
Well, I felt it was important to show the world who Michael really was, especially to us as a family.
So you were just a little boy when he first came to the house. I have to ask your mother, Connie, what in the world did you think when your husband said Michael Jackson is dropping bombs?
Well, Michael never made an announcement when he was coming. He would just show up at the door. In the middle of the night, sometimes he'd just knock at the door, and I'd wake up the kids. If you notice, they were all in their pajamas when they were playing and half asleep. But
how did you all keep this a secret all these years?
Michael was very private, and he felt that he saw the warmth and how we respected Michael for who he was, and now he just didn't want us to be that family that goes out and, talks about Michael Jackson, and we never did that.
We wanted to give Michael that opportunity to know that we weren't there to for who he was as a celebrity, that we were really there to be a family for him and to get him through all his bad times that he's been through, because we knew him before the bad times, and when the bad times came,
Bad times, you meaning charges of
Right.
sexual molestation?
we weren't going to turn our backs on him, and we stood there and we said we're with you all the way, and he appreciated, and we did it.
Well, I have to ask the questions because obviously there were bad times, accused of sexual molestation.
Mhm.
You had two young boys,
Mhm.
a young daughter. Did you ever ask your children if any improprieties had occurred with them?
As a father, I did.
As a father, you did.
And they looked at me like, are you serious? I mean, even, but I had to do it.
We had
I
to
trust
explain it to him, the kids, what was going on. They didn't understand it.
At the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you see that they don't mention that Michael molested them. They say, oh, Michael's so great. Michael's this, Michael's that, blah, 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 and all their bullshit. So, I have a bodyguard that I really like, and he talks about the Casio family.
Relevant. There was an album come out called Michael. When they bring Michael out, unheard tracks that were made at the Casio family's house in New York, in New Jersey, in their studio, and Eddie Casio is producer. And it came out, I think it was called Michael. And the fans were unhappy with 4 tracks, saying it's not Michael. And those fans are very clever at getting out the truth. And they brought it to the estate's attention. And they used equipment and stuff, and they realized, the Casio family, it seemed like they faked 4 tracks. It was not Michael's voice. So they had to remove those 4 tracks off Eddie Casio's album. And I think they brought a legal case against Eddie Casio. Now, that should be mentioned in these TV programs, documentaries about them now bringing, all 5 of them bringing, I think the lawsuit's about $250 million against his state. What a coincidence. They're waiting for the movie to be released before the documentary comes out. You know, they've always denied, they've always been defenders of him throughout all the trials, even the 1993 one, which didn't go to trial. You know, they've always been there for him. And in his documentaries, they mention that this family, all 5 of them didn't speak to each other. Then all of a sudden, after watching the 2019 documentary, Leaving Neverland, they all remembered they were abused as well. And they all talked to each other, and they didn't speak to each other about it. And they all had the same story, basically. But they just never spoke to each other about it. Very, very strange story. And
So there you go with his own bodyguard. Now I'm going to play stuff from the brothers. Let's see. Okay, that's the Casio one. Okay, I'm going to start with the brother.
What does that make Michael Jackson in your mind?
It's a monster. He's evil. What he did was evil. And he's tricked the whole world to think that he's this innocent, perfect human being. And he's not.
I don't believe how many photos there are of you guys together.
Oh.
So what does this stack of photos mean to you, represent to you?
An innocent family getting conditioned and programmed by a mastermind.
We are a close-knit family that he just took advantage of.
How old were you when you first met Michael Jackson?
I'm going to say I was 2 years old. Yeah, 1984. My father used to manage the Hemsley Palace in New York City. And he took care of all the celebrities. And Michael was one of those. I was just a little kid wearing a red suit with white pants.
Okay. So that was one of the brothers. Now I'm going to show you something that is so funny. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it, but then I'm going to show you what this person looks like while he's doing his thing on national television. This is one of the other Casio brothers.
This was the worst thing to live with.
I'm no psychologist. I did study psychology A level. That makes me qualified.
Not a single tear.
Oh, it wasn't the one. Oh man. All right, let's go to her.
I was 12 years old, and he asked me to spread my legs, and he asked to look at my vagina, and he proceeded to go close to it, and he sniffed it. He looked at it, and he admired it, and was like, "Wow." Was he naked as well? At that time, he just took out his penis, but showed it to me, and then that was it. First meeting. And then he proceeded to talk about how this is something special between myself and him.
You are so full of shit. And I'll show you the what the guy looks like crying. Here's what he looks like, okay? It is the fakest shit I've ever seen. And he's like, oh, you got to put your backpack on and go to school after Michael Jackson molests you. Bitch, please shut the fuck up. No, Michael Jackson didn't molest you. You want money. You're not getting money. And that's final. Final. Michael Jackson did not do these things. And it's unfucking believable that some people are buying this shit. Like, and what bothers me even more is that people left him alone and nobody stood by him because they didn't want to tarnish their brand. But he was found innocent, and the only people that stood by him were Chris Tucker and Macaulay Culkin and those people, of course. But it's just absolutely ridiculous. And here I have one more video, and then I have to go to the doctor. But this video was basically a half extra hour, so hold on.
At the trial, it came out that the Arvizos were badgering a number of celebrities for money and attention.
Chris Tucker had interacted with this family on numerous occasions. He felt they took him for a ride. I remember him telling me when I first met him that he was told his child had cancer. He wanted to help them out. He invited them to the set in Las Vegas of Rush Hour 1. He thought they would spend a day, and they ended up spending, I think it was 10 days or 2 weeks, and billing him for the entire amount. And he went to Michael Jackson in Florida and said, be careful, something's wrong.
I think we should just beat it. Just stop worrying and just follow me.
Now, Jay Leno was interviewed by the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department and secretly recorded by the sheriffs. He didn't know he was being recorded. And he told them words to the effect that this family had contacted him, that the 13-year-old accuser had tried repeatedly to get through to him, and that finally he had a conversation with him. He said that the 13-year-old sounded, overly rehearsed, sounded scripted. There seemed to be a woman in the background, directing what he said. And he got a bad feeling about what this young man was saying to him. And he thought they wanted money, although they didn't actually ask for it. And after that conversation, he told the staff not to let them put any calls through to him again that he didn't have a good feeling about.
We thought, here's another one. They're trying to lure him in and suck him in like they did Michael Jackson.
At the trial, it came out that the Arvizos were badgering a number of celebrities.
So I said I would read a Bible verse. And I want to read 2. And it says, he may speak in their ears and terrify them with warnings to turn them from wrongdoing and keep them from pride. Preserve them from the pit, their lives from perishing by the sword. I have sinned. I have perverted what is right, but I did not get what I deserved. God has delivered me from going down to the pit, and I shall live to enjoy the light of the light. And I thought those 2 things were perfect for Michael Jackson. And honestly, I just grabbed my Bible and flipped it open and that page just popped up. It took me 2 seconds. So that's how I feel about this Michael situation. I feel it's complete and total bullshit. I believe that he was a man that people took advantage of because in a way Michael was very naive. No. And Michael was very naive and he trusted very easily and he shouldn't have. And I think that that was a big ruin, a big, how do I say it? He ruined his life. He ruined his life by trusting these people and helping them and whatever. And it turned out the only thing they wanted from him was money and access to other famous people. And he, can you pick that up? He did not deserve any of that. He was just trying to be a humanitarian and take care of the people around him and try to make the world a better place for children. And if you don't agree, then I don't give a fuck. You can go fuck off and shit in a hat for all I care. So, but I am going to put my email up here because I would love for you. Oh, I didn't leave that up long enough. I would love to hear what you think, and you can send me an email there. You can also check me out on YouTube. Now, these shows won't be up on YouTube yet because I have to go to the doctor, so I can't put both these shows on YouTube yet. But when I get back, I'm going to put them on YouTube, and then I'm going to start my Carmelo Anthony case. So, thank y'all for joining, and I will see y'all soon. And here is the best song for Michael to play at the end of this. You can hear it like this. Stop.